And a very good Friday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. The the Pain podcast. Oh, that was good. It is Friday, September 26, 2025. The Joe Benigno The Pain podcast brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Anita Discount Tires, and by our latest sponsor, the Carolina Resort Vacation. Let me start out by saying this is my 72nd birthday. It's hard to believe I'm this old. Some nice presents already given to me by my wonderful wife. Playing golf today. I'm excited about that. So let me get all that out of the way. Presents will be accepted. I mean, I'm a very easy guy to buy for. So whatever, it is what it is. But keep. I guess the other alternative, for getting older, is not exactly a great one. Although nobody's come back to tell us if it's really that bad. So who knows? But nevertheless. 72 and still swinging. Still got some moves. We thank God for that.
Thank God.
Yeah. We'll start with the Mets. Big win last night. They beat the Cubs 8-5 in Chicago. Take 2 out of 3 in that series. So as we go to the final weekend of the regular season, the Mets have a 1-game lead for the final wild card spot over the Cincinnati Reds, a 2-game lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, both the Diamondbacks and the Reds have the tiebreaker on the Mets, and if they all finished in a 3-way tie, Cincinnati would get it. So the Mets have to win it outright. There's no other way. And, of course, they go to play a Miami team. It's going to Sandy Alcantara's pitching tonight. They got their 3 biggest starters lined up for the Mets. We all know what happened in 07 and 08 with the Marlins. So nothing's going to be easy. Good win, though, last night. Nolan McLean, even though he ran out of gas in the 6th inning, I mean, this kid, man, if there's any question who the ace of the Met rotation is, there's no question it's McLean. Now, the Mets hit early. They got a couple runs early on in the game. That crazy play where Swanson fell. I never knew this rule. Did you know? I mean, I'm watching baseball since 1960, right? 1961, really. The first full year I started watching it, okay? And when I was 8 years old. I never knew this rule, okay? That if you fall into the stands, okay, even if you catch the ball like Swanson did and it wasn't out, but if you fall into the stands, the base runners both get to advance. And the Mets scored a run like that. They had runners at second and third, and Vientos hit this pop-up that Swanson caught. His teammate Shaw actually kind of pushed him into the stands, and the Mets got a run out of that to take a 1-0 lead. Then Nimmo got a base hit to give him a 2-0 lead. They eventually led 6-0. Lindor hit his 30th homer of the year to go 30-30 for the second time. By the way, speaking of that, only 3 times in the history of Major League Baseball have 2 teammates gone 30-30 home runs and steals in the same season, and 2 of them have been the Mets. Lindor and Soto this year, and back in 1987, Darrell and Howard Johnson. They were the first teammates ever to do that. And then at some point in the 90s, the Rockies with Dante Bichette and Ellis Burks did it. So pretty interesting that that's the case. And also with the home run last night by Lindor, his 30th of the year, it was the first time in Met history that 3 different guys had 30 home runs on a team. Soto's got 43, Pete's got 37, and Lindor now has 30. So first time that's ever happened. But he hit that home run, made it 3-0. And then Brett Beatty hitting a 3-run bomb off a left-hander to left field to give him a 6-0 lead, and really gave McLean some cushion. And he looked great through the first 5. He did give up a couple solo home runs in the first 5 innings, but he struck out 11, the most strikeouts by a Met pitcher this year. Like I said, he ran out of gas a little bit. I forget the guy's name. He hit the 2 home runs last night for the Cubs, but he hit a 3-run homer to make it 8-5. And then the bullpen did the job. Tyrone Taylor had that big hit, a big double to give him 2 runs to make it 8-2. But the bullpen did the job last night, and they've been pretty good lately. When McLean left the game, Stanton came in. He got out of the inning. You saw Brooks Raley after that. He pitched really well for them after that. You saw Rogers come in and have a clean inning in the 8th inning. And then finally Diaz closing it out. And Diaz, let me tell you right now, and I talk about this all the time. We got to sign Pete. There's no question about it. They also have to sign Edwin Diaz, who may be the greatest closer the Mets have ever had. I mean, he's in the conversation, right? Tug McGraw and Jesse Orozco helped us win world championships, but Diaz is right up there with any of the closers. Johnny Franco, obviously Armando Benitez, Frankie Rodriguez, Braden Lupa, Billy Wagner. We go right on down the line with all the Met closers over the years. Jerus Familia, all of these guys. You can make a case Edwin Diaz is the best of all of them. And he got the job done last night. He gave up a base hit to start it. And then he got an out and then a double play to end the game as he closed it out for the Mets last night. So the bullpen, which has really been brutal, has really kind of come up pretty good for the Mets over the last few days. But the Mets have to hit. The bottom line, if they're going to make the playoffs, right, they need to hit. They're going to need to score runs because Brandon Sproat is pitching tonight. And who's pitching after that? Who? I mean, I've heard that there was a possibility that you may see Mendoza go with 3 starters in one game: Minaya, Holmes, and Peterson. I mean, who knows? I don't know how they're going to handle it after Sproat tonight. Hopefully, Sproat can give him a solid outing tonight. But the Mets got to hit. How about Juan Soto having that breakthrough moment that he still hasn't had? He went 0 for 4 last night. Hit some deep fly balls to center field. Crow Armstrong made a great catch on him to take at least a double away. He came out of nowhere to dive to make a stupid play in center field. And the Cubs made a couple crazy plays last night. It would have been even more of a blowout for the Mets. But you saw something last night, too, and I like this with Mendoza. The Mets defense has not been good lately. They've been throwing the ball around. The game they lost in Chicago, you had that play where McNeil threw the ball away, actually threw a couple balls away. Actually, that was the game they won on Tuesday night. And then you saw that craziness. Remember, Vientos threw a ball away, and then that play at the plate where Crow Armstrong scored from second on a wild pitch when Holmes didn't cover the plate. Terrible. So last night, Mendoza went with his defensive lineup. He went with Acuna at second, Tyrone Taylor in center field, and Beatty at third. Beatty made a terrific barehanded play to throw a runner out in the game, as well as hit that 3-run home run. I think I got to do that again tonight. I know it's Alcantara, and you probably want to get McNeil in the lineup, but I think you're going to see McNeil at second and not Acuna tonight. But you're going to see Beatty at third, and you have to play Taylor in center. I mean, there's no other way to go. There really isn't, because he's so good defensively, and he got 2 hits again last night. He got a big double to give the Mets an 8-2 lead, and that was a huge, to help give him that cushion at the end of the game when McClain gave up that 3-run home run. So we'll see what happens. Look, still a long way to go, man. Like I said, the Mets are in Florida to play the Marlins. The Reds are in Milwaukee to play the Brewers. Now, the Brewers have already clinched the division. I don't know if they've clinched home field yet over the Phillies, but whatever. All right, not an easy spot for Cincinnati. And Arizona is in San Diego to play the Padres, who, of course, have already clinched a playoff spot as well. They'll be playing the Cubs in the wild card round. Just depends who has the home field advantage there. I think the Cubs' magic number is 2 to clinch the home field for the first round of the playoffs. And the Mets are locked in. If they win the wild card, they're going to L.A. on Tuesday to play the Dodgers, who wrapped up the National League West last night. And, looks like Ohtani's going to be the opening starter for them. McClain will pitch that first playoff game on Tuesday if the Mets get there. So we'll see. Huge series coming up this weekend. You still got to be worried. Like I said, we've seen Florida knock them out of the playoffs before, as we all well know, in 07 and 08. Remember, they closed out Shea Stadium back in 08, that disaster. So we'll see. We'll see. But big win last night for the Mets. We'll take it, and we'll see what happens with Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for the New York Mets. One other thing, and I got to say this, and I hate to get into all this kind of stuff, but, I have to bring it up. And the unsensitive comments by Gary Cohen the other night about this kid Shaw, who left the Cubs on Sunday to go to Charlie Kirk's memorial and funeral out in Phoenix, and apparently Shaw very close with the Kirk family and all of that, and Gary basically criticized it. All right? How could he leave his team? He left his team. I mean, he made it sound like he left his team high and dry. First of all, the Cubs have already clinched a playoff spot. So it wasn't like the Cubs were playing these life and death games like the Mets are playing right now. That's number one. And number two, the Cubs gave him permission to go. And Cohen had a problem with that?
Please.
I mean, come on. Really, Gary? And look, I'm sure, again, I hate to get into all the political stuff. And you know where I am politically. Everybody knows it. It's no surprise. Okay? You know where I am. You know, I'm a big-time Trump supporter and all of that. So, you know, whatever. Everybody knows it's the truth. But that really ticked me off with Cohen. He had this kid, Charlie Kirk, be murdered in broad daylight, right, by this lunatic, okay, Robinson, whatever the hell his name is, okay? And the kid who was friends with him takes the game off, a game that really doesn't matter to the Cubs at all right, to go to this funeral, 200,000 people there in Phoenix, and Cohen had a problem with it? Are you serious? Why would you even bring that up?
He's a jerk.
And then he left, he left Todd Zeile. Todd Zeile did the game on Tuesday because apparently Keith Hernandez is sick and Ronnie Darling was doing the game on TBS, right, with the TBS crew, Jeff Francoeur and those guys. Why would you even bring it up? And then you leave Zeile hanging, and all Zeile said was it was unprecedented, and you know Zeile wanted no part. Why? I'm sure he was saying to himself, why the hell is Gary going here? Why is he doing that? That was a terrible job by Cohen. And I know he got blasted on the internet. I know that. You know, the social media was killing him, and rightfully so. Did not hear any apologies from him last night watching the game. If he did, I missed it. I didn't see it. You know, and I watched the entire game last night. I didn't hear him say a word about it, you know, when Shaw came up or whatever. Just a terrible job by Gary Cohen. And I understand, look, if you, you know, because I hate to look at it this way now, but I always have to look at it basically everything from a political bent, the way it is in our country these days. And if there was any question about where Gary Cohen's political, feelings lie, well, there's no doubt about it now. That was a terrible job by Cohen. And and I'm not the biggest fan of Cohen. He's a great announcer. He's one of the voices of the Mets. I mean, I don't know if he is the voice. I still might have to go with Howie Rose as being that on the radio, you know, to me. And I like Howie a lot more than I like Cohen. But, you know, he's still a great announcer and all of that. And, you know, I know him. I'd rather be listening to my guys do the game than the ESPN guys or, you know, the Fox guys or whoever else is going to be doing the playoffs because it won't be our guys. But he's all, Gary, he's smarter than everybody. He's always got to show you how smart he is. He's always got to have the last word. He's extremely condescending. You know, let's not forget that he basically ran Daniel Murphy out of town, you know, how many years ago now, right? Net zero about Daniel Murphy as he carried the Mets into the World Series, you know, had that unbelievable run, and then they let him walk, and he goes to Washington, and, you know, he was the best hitter in the league, right? And the Mets could never get him out when they played him. And now, when Cohen, in the times occasionally when you'll see Daniel Murphy do some Met games along with Cohen's freaking, you know, he's like buddy, kissing his ass. Murph this, Murph that. Give me a freaking break. You ran the guy out of town. And I wonder if Murphy's aware of it. I don't know. The one thing I will say this about Gary. And he did say the other day, and I was happy for him to say this, and it was one of the games last week when Pete hit a home run, Alonso, and he said, you know, the Mets are going to have, you know, basically said, you know, the Mets are going to have to do what they have to do to sign this guy. And he's certainly right about that. At least he's not trying to run Pete out of town. At least.
Yeah.
And one of the things with Murphy, and again, I don't know this for sure, but, you know, Murphy back when he was a very religious guy, and I don't know if that sat well overall with the Mets. I don't know. I mean, I get that impression. There was something maybe to that. But whatever. Be that as it may. Terrible job by Cohen. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And how he could say that, how he could be so insensitive after what happened to Charlie Kirk in a meaningless game for the Cubs when you break it down, and when he got full blessing of the Cub management to go there, that was a terrible, terrible, terrible job by Gary Cohen. It really was. I mean, there's no other way to say it. All right. Benigno, the Yoda Pain Podcast. Let's get the sponsors in here. As we always say, I do not know when the next live podcast will be at the Hackensack Brewing Company. We'll see. Sometime maybe next month. I don't know the answer to that, but we will keep you abreast of all that. and let you know when that's going to be. Now, if you need work done on your car, if you need tires, whatever you may need, go see Johnny, my son Johnny, his boss Ari over at the Anita Discount Tire in Rivervale, New Jersey on Westwood Avenue. They'll take care of all your automotive needs. They'll inspect your car, whatever you need, tires, the whole deal. Go see them again in Rivervale, New Jersey, Anita Discount Tire, Westwood Avenue. And last but not least, our latest sponsor, and that is the Carolina Resort Vacation. My kids were down there in August and had a great time down there. Loved every second of it. Plan your next getaway at North Myrtle Beach. If you're looking for the perfect vacation spot, check out Carolina Resort Vacations, OBLV Unit 2 in the beautiful North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They have it all. They got 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private en-suite bathroom, hello convenience, a fully stocked kitchen ready for family meals or group cooking nights, arcade-style gaming tables with 150-plus classic games, smart TVs in every room, entertainment for everybody, steps from the beach, minutes from the barefoot landing, mini golf, all the great golf courses, the aquarium, Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, the whole deal there. The unit is freshly renovated, spotless, spacious, perfect for family trips, group getaways, or relaxing retreat by the ocean. This unit is freshly renovated, spotless, and spacious. The whole deal, whether you're soaking up the sun, exploring local attractions, just enjoying time together. OBLV Unit 2, Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Wish I was there now. Comfort, style, location, all in one. 843-249-6509. You can go online to Carolina Resorts Realty.com. Learn more and start planning your trip today. 843-249-6509. Carolina Resort Vacation. Okay. As far as the football this weekend, if you're a Giant fan, you'll see the debut of Jackson Dart against the San Diego LA Chargers, the undefeated San Diego LA Chargers, on Sunday, 1 o'clock at MetLife. And we'll see as the Jackson Dart era begins. Brian Dable has said he's going to start the rest of the year no matter what. So we'll see what happens. I think they really got something with Dart. You know, you're probably not going to see it right away, but I think the Giants, I think when all is said and done, and who knows about these quarterbacks, I just got a feeling about him that he is going to be their quarterback for a long time, and that will start on Sunday against the 3-0 Chargers, of course, the 0-3 football Giants at MetLife. Now, as far as the Jets are concerned, they play Monday night in Miami against the 0-3 Dolphins, the 0-3 Jets, the 0-3 Dolphins. No Quincy Williams. He's out for 4 games. He's on the IR. No Jermaine Johnson, so already the defense is taking a hit. They brought this guy Brownlee in the secondary. I don't know if he's any good. We'll see what he does, if anything. Look, I think that Tua is going to light them up. If the Jets are going to win this game, they have to score a lot of points because his defense stinks. Secondary's terrible. Let's be honest about it. And we'll see what happens. Still, I guess Justin Fields has still not been cleared from concussion protocol, so we still don't know if he's playing or not on Monday night. I think they're better. I think the Jets are better with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Now, that's me. Okay? What the hell do I know? But I think they are. And so if Taylor starts, I'm good with it. And we'll see if they can win a game. I mean, come on. You look at what's ahead for the Jets. I mean, there's some winnable games out there. I mean, they started the year 0-3. Look who they lost to. They lost to the 3-0 Bucks, the 3-0 Bills, and the 2-1 Steelers. So, you got a winless Miami team Monday. You got a 1-2 right now Dallas Cowboy team coming at the MetLife next week. You got Carolina on the schedule. You got Atlanta on the schedule. You got the Patriots. We don't know how good they are. Obviously, you got the Saints down the road. So, we'll see what happens. There are some games that the Jets can win, but then again, you look at the teams they're playing that are bad teams, and they're looking at the Jets and saying, boy, we can win that game. So, we'll see. But how about finally winning a goddamn game and beating the Dolphins on Monday night? Maybe a Jet win will end the Mike McDaniel era as far as him being head coach. Could very well do that. So, and that's fine with me. But we'll see whether Taylor or Fields play. Like I said, Fields still has not been cleared from concussion protocol to play in this game. So, but like I said to you as well, I'm actually better off. I feel better if Taylor is playing in this football game. But we'll see. Monday night, 7 o'clock. Love the fact there's a doubleheader on Monday night. The Jets actually start, I guess it's 7:15 kickoff, which is great. An hour earlier than usual on Monday night. And then I think it's Denver and Cincinnati is the second game on Monday Night Football. So all good there. All right. Benigno, the Yoda Payne podcast. Went 3-0 with my picks last week. So let me give you my picks for Sunday. I'm taking the Jets again, getting actually Monday night for the Jet game. I'm taking the Jets plus 2.5 on Monday night against Miami. That's pick number 1. We already broke that game down. I'm taking Buffalo laying the big number, laying 15.5 on Sunday against the Saints in Buffalo. Buffalo's going to kill them. The Saints aren't any good. They're 0-3. They got whacked last week by Seattle. I love Buffalo here, laying 15.5. This game's got like 30-3 written all over it. So lay the big number with the Bills against the Saints, 15.5-point favorite in Buffalo. And I'm taking the Bucks, the battle of 2-3-0 undefeated teams, Sunday in Tampa. I'm taking the Bucks getting 3.5 against the Eagles. Bucks beat them last year, beat them in the playoffs a couple years ago. You know how I feel about Baker Mayfield. He's got the biggest balls of any quarterback in the NFL. He really does. We should have signed him a few years ago. So give me the Bucks plus 3.5 at home against Philadelphia. So the Benigno picks for Sunday and Monday. Give me the Jets plus 2.5 Monday night against the Dolphins. Give me the Bills laying 15.5 on Sunday against the Saints. And give me the Bucks getting 3.5 at home against Philadelphia in a battle of unbeaten teams. So they are the Benigno picks for this weekend's games. Got a bunch of really good college games coming up this weekend, all over the place. Big game in the Big Ten on Saturday night, Penn State and Oregon. Couple big games in the SEC. Ole Miss at home against LSU. And then you got 2 undefeated teams there. And then you got Alabama and Georgia coming up between the hedges in Athens on the Dogs on Saturday night. So you got some real good games there coming up. Notre Dame and Arkansas, actually another pretty decent game. 3:30 game in Fayetteville on Saturday as well. So a lot of interesting college games. Last weekend stunk. If you care about Rutgers, they go to Minnesota to play the Golden Gophers this week. They'll lose that game too after they came off that loss at home last week to Iowa. After they won their 3 gimme games against, not that it was a gimme, they almost lost to, was it Ohio U they almost lost to? Or was it Miami, one of them? And they beat Norfolk State, big deal. So, but nevertheless, Rutgers in Minnesota to play the Golden Gophers on Saturday. So, some interesting college games coming up as my stomach is betraying me as we speak here. So this is what happens when you get to 72. But nevertheless, so we'll see. Again, my birthday today. All presents will be accepted. Don't feel shy. You know.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, well, we're playing golf. We'll see what kind of golf day. My wife did get me my favorite golf balls. You know, I love those Strixon half and half balls, half yellow, half white. Really love them. They're very expensive. They're like $50 a box. Apparently, my wife found them on sale, $10 off. So, but
Always a shopper.
my wife always a shopper.
Not really.
The last batch I bought, she bought me them for Father's Day as well. They're all gone. Just let me, I didn't save any of them. I always say this about golf ball. If you got a golf ball that you really like, don't play it. Okay, because the chances are if you play it long enough, you're going to lose it. So the 4 holes in one I have all the balls. I kept the balls. I do not use those balls anymore. So they are all in my possession from all 4 of the stunningly holes in one that I have. Now, you might be into the Ryder Cup. We'll see. That's gotten underway today. We'll see how that all plays out at BetPage Black, of course. And so that gets underway today. I might, as far as personnel, it's very close. As far as personnel, I might give a slight edge to the European team. Slight. But we'll see. I think the 2 best golfers, though, are on the American team, and that's Scheffler and DeChambeau. We'll see how that goes, but that's underway. I thought it was funny that yesterday in the introductions or whatever they did yesterday before it started. The governor, the wonderful governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, was there and got booed to the heavens by the golf fans. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, but always a crazy crowd, and I'm sure it's going to be absolutely nuts over at Bethpage Black starting today. No doubt about it. I had it a little bit earlier. Today is what they do. I guess they got the teams every other ball today. You know, they take turns, two different guys playing together every other ball, and then by Sunday you'll be seeing the single matches, and I believe Big Don's going to be there as well. So should be pretty crazy on Sunday. But we'll see what happens. As far as the Yankees go into the weekend tied with the Toronto Blue Jays for the lead in the American League East, and we'll see how that plays out. Remember, Toronto has the tiebreaker. The Yankees play Baltimore, and at the stadium, I'm not sure who Toronto's playing. I should know, but I don't know.
You want me to look?
Yeah, you can look. You want to look real quick on who the Blue Jays are playing?
Sure.
But if they finish tied, the Blue Jays get the division. And, you know, if you're the Yankees, you want to win that division, man. You want to avoid that 3-game crapshoot. And I believe they're playing the Red Sox. I believe if they wind up in the wild card, they're playing the Red Sox. Now, those games will be at Yankee Stadium. But even with that said, they've had trouble this year with Boston. So, you know, you want to avoid that. And we'll see. I think the Yankees have a chance to win it all. I really do. You got to give them a shot. Certainly to get to the World Series.
What do you want to know?
Who did the Blue Jays play this weekend?
The Blue Jays
Yeah.
They play the Rays
Where?
at home. Blue Jays are home.
Okay, so they play Tampa, which can always be tough. So Yankees at home to the Orioles. The Blue Jays at home to the Tampa Bay Rays.
It's on Apple TV, though, of course.
What, the Yankees tonight?
No. Blue Jays, Rays. The Yankees are on MLB.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The Blue Jays.
Yeah, well, that's
Of
fine.
course.
Yeah, well, they can be on it because we don't really care. As long as the Mets are on regular TV tonight, which they are. I don't know if they're on Channel 11. I think they're on SNY tonight. I'm pretty sure the game is SNY tonight down in Florida. So that's the deal as far as the baseball is concerned. The playoffs start Tuesday. If the Mets make the playoffs, they'll be in L.A. to play the Dodgers. The Yankees depends. If the Yankees win the division, they'll be off. They'll be sitting home waiting to see who they're going to play in the second round. If the Yankees do not win the division, they will be starting a series, probably, I guess, against the Red Sox on, I guess that'll probably be Wednesday at Yankee Stadium. So there you go. No games Monday. You got the Monday night doubleheader, the Jets in Miami against the Dolphins, and you got the Bengals. I believe they're in Denver. That game's in Denver to play the Broncos. So there you go. Big football weekend. The Giants, the Jackson Dart era begins against the Chargers at MetLife. You got the Ryder Cup going on. You got all the big college games going on. So you got a lot of different stuff going on right now as far as the sports world is concerned. So everybody enjoy it. Have a stellar weekend. I'm off to the golf course to play a little golf here on my 72nd birthday. Maybe I could shoot a 72. Yeah. The only 72 I'll be shooting is for 9 holes. Sure as hell ain't happening for 18. But I've been playing pretty well lately, so we'll see if that hopefully can continue today. So God bless America. All the love to everybody. I will be back with you on Monday. Oh, by the way, and I want to apologize for everybody for what happened Monday. Apparently with Riverside, the carrier for the podcast, they had an issue with their sound. So I wasn't the only guy. If you put the podcast on Monday, you saw me talk, my mouth moving, but nothing coming out. It was like a ventriloquist or something. So we apologize for that for Monday. But we're all good today. We tested it today. We're all good today.